I want to ask the question, are the doors closing on the UBI conversation? Really for now. And I wanted to say this because I made a video maybe 2 weeks ago, whenever this whole thing really started. I noticed that it seemed like people were celebrating this moment as, all right, this is it. This is our victory party. This is emergency UBI. It's happening. And I didn't want that conversation to happen then. And we've continued, and the conversation really hasn't changed much. I think that sometimes we get excited because we see things happening and we forget there is a defense. Like, I know I've probably made some less than favorable videos here lately, but I always try to be aware that there's another side. There's going to be people trying to obstruct what we're trying to get done. Admittedly, UBI is not my favorite Andrew Yang policy. There is a lot that comes from universal basic income that is incredibly important. And I feel like we are in the midst of missing a huge opportunity right now, because there are things that are on the table that on a normal conversation just wouldn't really be there. The reason why I think UBI works particularly now is because of the fact that we have this economic interruption and we have to fix it temporarily. But what universal basic income forever would do, as opposed to this one-time stimulus, is allow us to have the time to bounce back. Well, we're saying, okay, well, we're going to give people a one-time check, but we know that one-time check really isn't going to be enough, right? We know that's not really enough to get past however long people have been out of work, and we don't really have any means to make up for that. But if we took this opportunity and said, okay, you know what, we'll do it now, and let's change the economy. Like, let's restructure the economy around the future. And to show you that some people really are seeing that, a stimulus offered by House Financial Services Committee creates new digital dollar. Did anybody catch this? Did anybody catch this? This is huge. Now, this is the Pelosi bill that many people said was complete garbage. It was the liberal wish list. But there are concerns with rolling out a UBI that something like this, it makes impossible things sound possible. How can we get every American their check if they haven't filed their taxes? How can we do it quickly? How can we do it efficiently? What if we had a digital dollar? How can we make the payments universal? No means testing, none of that. A digital dollar solves a lot of problems. As the markets continue to drop and the U.S. looks to Congress for agreement on a massive stimulus package to save money from the impacts of the pandemic, the newest offer by House Democrats includes a very forward-looking kind of stimulus: the creation of a digital dollar and the establishment of digital dollar wallets. In what will send shockwaves through the crypto and blockchain industry, particularly for those following central bank digital currencies around the world, this signals that the U.S. is serious in establishing infrastructure for a central bank digital currency. Both Speaker Pelosi's Take Responsibility for Workers and Families Act and the Financial Protection and Assistance for America's Consumers, States, Businesses, and Vulnerable Populations Act, introduced by Chairwoman Waters of Financial Services Committee, introduced these concepts today as a way of delivering the economic stimulus payment to U.S. citizens. The bill establishes a digital dollar, which it defines as a balance expressed as a dollar value consisting of a digital ledger entries that are recorded as liabilities on the accounts of the Federal Reserve Bank, or an electronic unit of value redeemable by an eligible financial institution as determined by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Additionally, a digital dollar wallet is defined as a digital wallet or account maintained by a Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of any person that represents holdings in an electronic device or service that is used to store digital dollars that may be tied to digital or physical identity. A lot of the questions that are being asked, a lot of the issues that are coming up as we're trying to figure out how to roll this thing out, how to make it more universal, how to get it to more Americans, how to do it quickly, can be solved with this. With a digital currency backed by the government, an official thing, and you just log into your phone, a wallet is established for you because you got a social security number here, and you're rolling. Like, we need to be taking this opportunity to embrace technology so that we can use it to push us forward. And since we don't know how we're going to be able to get Americans to bounce back, we don't really know how we're going to fix this chasm of time that we've now created because we've asked everyone to just stop production on everything. What if we said, instead of just taking a loan against our future, which is essentially kind of what we're doing right now, why aren't we taking this opportunity to say, okay, why don't we establish a VAT now? Why don't we say, let's just take this, establish a VAT, encourage Americans to spend. Let's not give them $1,400. Let's give them $2,500. But we're going to put a VAT on because we want people to spend. We don't want them just to spend on essentials. We don't want them just to spend on food and bullets. We want them to just stimulate the economy. And we want them to stay home. So we establish a universal basic income. We use a digital dollar to do it. And then we also establish a VAT simultaneously. That way we know we have a way to bring money in. My schools are looking to close for the year. So, you know, I work from home, which is cool, but I still have a business to run. But imagine people who don't have the luxury of working from home. Now, maybe they're not going to lose their job because the current bill is going to give their company some type of loan or whatever, so they'll be able to make payroll, stay in business. What do those parents do now? Now they have to stop working or pay for childcare. Where is that coming into this? It's not. But if we had a universal basic income that would give those parents the freedom to say, you know what, now that staying home is a legitimate job, right? Now that I have the option to work because I'm getting more than enough, plus the government feels comfortable giving me more than the bare minimum because they know that there's a taxation mechanism attached to it. And, you know, they're going to get some of that money back. You know, they want us to spend, so they're going to say, all right, we'll give you $2,500 per month, which for many people is still not enough, but for many Americans, it is enough. I think we're missing a huge opportunity because we're not having the right conversation. We're not working the legislation into the conversation. We're just leaving it up to the politicians who already don't like the idea of giving people a monthly handout. Like, Trump is not talking about this as a UBI. He's talking about an emergency economic stimulus temporarily. You see, he wants people to get back to work by Easter. Like, we want to give all these tax incentives to major corporations. Why? We should say, you know what? Let's give you guys tax incentives to speed up your automation. Because if you speed up your automation, that's more money that's coming back to the American people because we're taxing companies' automation. So we're going to encourage you to do that. We're going to give you a tax incentive to speed up your automation. They already want to do it because they don't want to put themselves in this position again. It gives us more revenue to cover something like this, to cover this UBI, to cover this gap. Even if they said, you know what, let's just give people a $5,000 one-time payment. We'll give you $5,000 for the rest of this year, and then we roll it out next year. And then the remaining months, we're on month 3, so the remaining 4 months, the federal government just stockpiles that to make sure the math adds up. Definitely not a perfect plan, but I feel like there's a way where we can have this exact same conversation where everyone feels satisfied in that we are truly creating a UBI. We're putting the conversation of automation in a positive light. We're encouraging companies to do it. We're encouraging Americans to still spend. And I think in reframing it as a way to make this thing happen, as opposed to, hey, we're just trying to get our policy in there because it's an election year, or Andrew Yang was just running for president on this idea, so hey, you guys should support it. America doesn't know how we're going to cover this stimulus. So let's give them away.